Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dawn of War Sunrise Parabellum official tournament guide. What I'll be doing in this video is that I'll be going through a handy-dandy PDF doobly-doo thing that I've made. I'll be reading through all the rules, all the formatting and whatnot, so hopefully you should be able to understand it better. This PDF will be available in the Discord in some relevant channel, whatever channel I put it in. It'll be obvious wherever I put it. So you can read it if you want, or if you want to listen to me ramble on about stuff while you go about your day-to-day business, feel free to. But before we get into the actual tournament, I want to do a little bit of it's not a promotion, it's not a advertisement, but if you haven't seen my post from a while back, I've started doing some freelance writing for Age of Miniatures, and this is one of the articles that I have done for it for Warhammer 40k Tabletop. I've sent to the editor a article for the 10th edition that's came out, so have a look on there sometime in the near future to see about my opinions and thingamajiggies on the 10th edition coming out. Isn't that exciting? Like I say, not a paid promotion, but yeah, look at me. Official writer, freelancer. Ooh, add that to the LinkedIn bio. So okay, Sunrise Parabellum official tournament guide. Let's get cracking with the knacking. So what is the Sunrise Parabellum tournament? The Sunrise Parabellum tournament is a contest in which teams of 2 to 8 players compete with each other, so with other teams for dominance over differing versions and mods in Dawn of War. The goal of this tournament are as follows. Provide a fun and relaxed way of organising and managing tournaments to allow players of any skill to work together to take part in some exciting games. Can you see why I put this as a PDF? Because I can barely read my own words, let alone someone else's. To be a low maintenance tournament that requires minimum effort from admin and referees to organise, to be as professional looking as humanly possible, for all the bells and whistles, to give the tournament the same feel as a more established esports tournaments, and to give players and teams the chance to demonstrate their skills and get some well-earned name recognition within the Dawn of War community. Right, so in my head, while planning all the rules for this, I've been doing this since about maybe January or so, and I've been thinking to myself, right, how can I get everyone together in a nice, happy conglomerate where it requires very little effort in the way of organising? Because, I mean, I don't know if you know, but I've got a full-time job. All the mods have got a full-time job. All the players have got a full-time job. And one really difficult thing about tournaments, or organising them anyway, is getting every human being in the same place at the same time to do the same thing. So that's one idea we'll be going through to see if we can get everyone on board with that. Also, tournaments are quite serious, and I like it when things are a little bit serious, but also mostly fun and relaxed. I think that's when the best fun is had. Professional looking. Now, I don't know if you ever watched Total Biscuit when he used to do StarCraft, or any of the other casters who did StarCraft way back when, but I liked it when the little animations with the names came up, and there was like a logo for every team, and you recognise the team name and the team players, and everyone had like a little fan following. So I would just like to recreate that in Dawn of War. I think that would be really, really fun. So okay, let's go on to the formatting. How will the teams face off? In this tournament, there will be 2 stages, the group stage and the final stage. In the group stages, 3 teams will play 4 unification and 4 soulstorm games against each other. These games will be a 1 versus 1, and for each win, a team will gain a point. And the 2 teams that with the most points will face off in the final stage, with which will be a best of 5. These games will be a 2 versus 2. So my idea going on for this is, because this is the first time we're ever going to be doing this kind of tournament, I wanted to keep it small. So you might notice that there's some obvious missing mods in there, Ultimate Apocalypse being one, Pro Mod being one of them, just to make sure that I've got the format correct, because I know I've been thinking about this for quite a long time, but I know there's probably something that I haven't thought about that will muck up. So we're keeping it small, we're keeping it light, keeping it easy breezy, just to make sure the format works, and then in the future we'll make it bigger and bolder and brasher. Yes, anything else that I need to mention on this page? Yeah, so like, every team will just face off 4v4, not 4v4, 4 games of Soulstorm and Vanilla, each against each other. And I want the finals to be a 2 versus 2, in fact, actually, I'll move on because it'll make more sense if I explain it this way. So how will the teams be organised? Teams can be made of a number of players from 2 to 8. Each of these players must dedicate themselves to a specific version of the game during the group stages. For example, Team A has 4 players to form their team. They decide that during the group stages, 2 players will play the unification games, while the other 2 will play the soulstorm games. If the team gets to the finals, players in the team can participate in whatever game version they like, regardless of what they played during the group stage. So the idea behind this is that I understand that some people getting involved in the tournament may be more comfortable in vanilla, maybe more comfortable in unification. So what if we do both? And then that way, if, you know, maybe you've got like a really experienced unification player, maybe a really experienced soulstorm player, but they would never actually need to ever play together in real life. But oh well, now this tournament is a thing. They've got to come together to work together. And so this is another thing as well. The reason why it's a 2v2. So say for example there is one team with only 2 players, and one's really good at soulstorm and one's really good at unification. But then it's a 2v2 at the end. So like, oh no, well now they've got to decide which, depending on who they're up against and what kind of maps and what kind of races are available to them, would they be better playing Soulstorm or Unification? So there's a little bit of pre-game strategy. That's a big thing that I wanted to try and introduce to this tournament, was a bit of pre-game analysis for the players and also the casters as well, because I just think that's really interesting. Whether it works or not, we shall see. How many games does each player have to take part in? Members of the team can partake in as many games as they wish, or none. This could be helpful if a team has somebody who cannot commit to the whole tournament, but may be able to play as a substitution should a team member fall ill during the tournament. For example, Team A has 4 players. During the group stage, one of their players play 4 unification games. A second plays 3 games of Soulstorm, and a third player participates in 1 game of Soulstorm. The fourth player plays none. During the finals, however, the first player is sick on one of the days that the games are to be played. The fourth player comes in and plays some of the games on behalf of the first player. So another thing as well that I think is a barrier for entry for some people doing tournaments is that they can't commit all the time. They might be able to play 1 game, but playing maybe more than 1 game, or maybe more than 2 or 3, is too much of a commitment for them. So, as a substitution on your team, he might be only free on a Sunday afternoon, but just so happens that you've planned to play a game, but on that one Sunday afternoon, your mother's fallen down the stairs and you need to take her to the vets or whatever. I don't know, whatever country you live in. So, yeah, that's the idea behind it. And also, one thing that I've forgot to mention as well is that the way your players are organised, they don't have to be evenly split between Soulstorm or Unification. So you could have just one person being dedicated to the Unification games and 7 people dedicated to the Soulstorm games. Now, obviously, that means that that's a lot of weight put onto that one Unification player, but if that's how you want to organise your teams, that's totally fine. Moving on to, what is the map pool for this tournament? So to keep it simple, the first game between each team in the group stages will be played on Fata Morghe. This is both for Unification and Soulstorm. Whichever team loses gets to pick the next map. For example, Team A and Team B play the first of their 4 games in Soulstorm on Fata Morghe. Team A wins the first game, so in the next game, Team B will choose the map for the second game. Team B wins the first game in Unification, so Team A chooses the map for the second game in Unification. So the wins between Unification and Soulstorm are kept separately. So if you win your Unification game, doesn't affect who picks the map in the Soulstorm game. They're separate for the map pool. I'm doing it this way purely because is Fata Morghe overdone? Yes, but it's also a bit of a meme at this point. We need Fata Morghe in the tournament, otherwise there'll be riots on the street. The whole government will collapse. We're the only thing keeping society together, boys and girls. However, one of the things that we'll go on about quite a lot in this breakdown is that we want to keep this tournament as hands-off admin and referee-wise as humanly possible. And also, some races, like let's say for example, you're playing as the... Oh no, here's a better example. Let's say you are on a losing streak because you're up against a really, really good team with a series of really amazing Necron players. So what you could do is just pick a map that Necrons aren't very good on. which then forces the other team to then try and adapt and overcome that thing, which I think would be great, because then it also gives the losing team the advantage. So it tries to keep things even all the way through. And because there's 4 games, if you, say for example, lose... Oh, so if one team wins both games, then it just evens out. I don't quite know how the maths work. I explained it to someone the other night, and the maths work. If you win a certain amount, then you're on the back foot for so long, and then gives people a chance to claw their way back into a winning position. Yes. Okay. So, how will the teams choose the races they play? So during the first game between 2 teams on both the Unification and Soulstorm, again it's separate, players will agree on a coin flipping or any suitable, fun 50-50 chance way of doing things application to use to determine which player will choose their faction first. From this point onwards, whichever team wins has to then be the first to pick their factions for the next game. There will be no picks or bans on factions for this tournament. Again, I want to keep things as flexible as humanly possible, with the advantage going to whichever team is on the losing side, to keep everything as even as humanly possible. I don't like the idea of saying, oh, well, I don't like you playing X faction, so you're not allowed to play it, because if that's your faction, that's your faction. Just play it all day long, even if it is a bit broke. I know everyone instantly is thinking Emperor's Children, which is fair. That is a fair and valid point to make. But then if you know that's coming, then you've got the chance to maybe practice against Emperor's Children, and maybe you've got the secret sauce, the wombo combo of a map and a faction to beat them, which would be really interesting to see. Sorry, I'm rambling along quite a lot. This is again, like with the tier list, this is not my normal format to do things in. So how will the tournament be monitored? So to ensure the smooth operating of this tournament, players have a few rights to reduce the administration needed. Now, I, for one, if you're a long-time fan of the channel, you'll know that I'm not a big fan of alliteration. I think alliteration is the poor man's way of writing, mainly for politicians. But look at it. The right to reorganise, the right to refuse play, the right to review, the right to reconnect. All the R's. Completely unintentional as well. I'm quite proud of it personally. If you want me to work in admin, find my LinkedIn. I'll do anything for $1. I buy anything, I mean, not much, to be honest. I'll just do this. I'll just do Dawn of War for $1. I do it for $1 on Patreon. Have a look in the description below if you want to support the channel. Smooth transition there. So, the right to reorganise. If a game time has been agreed on by 2 individual players, but one player cannot attend the match and none of their other teammates can act as a substitute, they can request to reorganise. To exercise this right, the request must be made 24 hours before the game is said to take place, and each team can exercise this right 3 times. This is just to make sure that no one abuses the right. We're all leading really busy lives and stuff. I don't know how long the group stages will last. I'll probably do a poll on the Discord whether the group stages last for 2 weeks or a month, or maybe if it could be done in 1 week. Who knows? But we'll refine the timings for that. But yeah, it's just to make sure that if someone has committed and you've taken time out of your day to make space for that game, if they then say, oh, by the by, sorry, oh, my nana's also fallen down the stairs, it's like, right, come on, like, you know, we've all got private lives, haven't we? You know, you can't expect people to give up their days willy-nilly. Okay, so the right to refuse play. So, if, for whatever reason, one team refuses to follow the rules of picking a map, setting the correct game conditions, which we'll talk about later, or picking a faction, the opposing team can exercise their right to refuse play. To exercise this right, there must be a clear demonstration of a team refusing to follow the rules. The team enacting this right must provide evidence of foul play in the form of a screenshot of the violation. If a screenshot cannot be obtained for whatever reason, the match will be postponed until either a mutually agreed upon observer or a member of the admin team on the Mr. Landshark server can be present. And a team found in violation of these rules will lose a point in the group stages or lose a match in the finals, depending on when this happens. If a team is found abusing this right, they will suffer the same treatment. So, this is just basically the setup. This isn't anything to do in-game. This is just before the game actually starts. If someone says, I don't know, like they were meant to choose their factions first, so they choose Necrons. So then you choose another faction, and then maybe like 4 seconds in the loading screen, just before they go in, they said, oh, you know what, I don't want to play Necrons anymore, I'm going to switch my faction, and then try and load it up again. That's just to stop this from happening. But I do understand that you can't always get a screenshot of things that are going on, so just postpone the match, and then maybe if there's no like admin team available, maybe there's like Billy Bob Jr., who's an observer, and both teams agree that he's a good observer. Get him in, he can observe the match starting, and then when the match starts, he can then leave. So I think that's one way of making sure that all the games are set up correctly. And regarding the correct game conditions, rather than putting this PDF full of information, I'm going to make certain bits and bobs available as little FAQs in the rules channel on the Discord, just to save space in this PDF. I only want the very most important things on here at the moment. So, the right to review. If, for whatever reason, a team suspects another team of foul play during a match, they may request for a member of the admin team to review a game replay. They must state the nature of any foul play and provide a rough timestamp. If foul play is proven beyond a reasonable doubt in a game, the team committing the foul play will be judged as losing the game regardless of the result. The team member who has committed the foul play will be removed from the team as well. Now, this is quite a harsh... notice how there's oh, you only lose 1 point, or maybe you get to exercise the right to reorganise 3 times. The right to review, this is quite a harsh one, because, like I say, this tournament is meant to be hands-off as much as possible. If there is a cause for concern where we've actually got to get hands-on, well, then you're kind of defeating the whole objective of the tournament, and you will be removed, because we're all busy. You know, people in the admin team, I've got a full-time job, some people have kids, some people have, I don't know, hobbies and loved ones to spend time with at home. So yeah, if it takes time out of our day, we're going to treat it very, very seriously. And also because, like, it's just not cool, man. Not cool at all. The right to reconnect. With players taking part across the globe with different machines, it is expected that players' games will crash or lose connection. If a player's games crashes or loses connection within the first 2 minutes, the game will be rehosted. If this happens past the 2-minute marker, it will be up to the team that has not disconnected or crashed if they wish to rehost the game. If a team suspects another of abusing this right, the game shall be postponed until a right to review can be enacted. See the rules about foul play above. So essentially, from my experience, anything that happens 2 minutes before a game, or before the 2-minute marker in a game, kind of doesn't have that much a way of an effect. It's mostly build orders, capturing your points. There's no major early harassment going on at that stage. So if anyone disconnects before that 2-minute marker, it should be fine to reconnect. But after that, well, it's like approaching the 2-minute marker, just after the 2-minute marker, that's when actual game-changing things happen. So I think after that 2-minute marker, it's fair to say that, look, right, if you've disconnected at this point, it's up to your opposing team who's not disconnected whether they think, actually, yeah, that was fair, or maybe you're just, oh, I had a poor pick or engagement in the first 2 minutes, and now I kind of want to rehearse myself. So there we go. That's that. I'm not sure about how I feel about the entirety of this, because I understand that. Actually, no. If you've got a computer that doesn't have a good internet connection and it doesn't load the game properly, then maybe don't commit yourself to a tournament. I'm trying to make this tournament as open as humanly possible, but I think that if the physical machine doesn't work very well, then that's kind of like a hard limit, really, isn't it? Which is a shame, because I know that some of us would really want to get involved in tournaments like this, but maybe we live in a part of the world, like in Hull specifically, our internet's not that great, but it's not that great very rarely, if I'm making any sense whatsoever. So what is considered foul play in a game? In both Soulstorm and Unification, certain bug exploits can be considered foul play. To keep things simple, an easy to reference list will be created separate from this document. Like we mentioned earlier, it'll be in the rules channel on the Discord. So okay, that's basically the format. That's the format and the rules. we're going to something a little, not as essential, but I think it's quite exciting all the same. So, team representation. Team in the Sunrise Parabellum tournament will be required to make a team name and play with a unified colour scheme with banners and badges that represent their team. Teams must also make a PNG formatted symbol for their team to be used for video editing purposes for when the games are casted. This image must be shared with Mr. Landshark. All symbols and team names must be PG friendly and feature no offensive words, phrases or images. For whatever reason, if no team member on your team can make banners, badges or a team symbol, this can be outsourced to anyone outside the team. Should there be a game in which a member of any team forgets to use their team colour schemes, it will not affect the game result. We understand that in unification especially, there are a lot of races to make colour schemes for, but it would be amazing if a serious effort could be made to use their colour schemes for the matches. So yeah, I don't think that needs all that much explaining. I think I said before that I like the StarCraft-esque, everyone's got like the same colour scheme, everyone's got similar symbols to match them up. I just think it would look really, really cool and professional, especially on those thumbnails as well for the video, where I could have, say for example, if it was like, if I managed to get all 4 soulstorm games for 2 individual teams going up against each other in one, I could have all 4 races used by each faction on either side, and then their team symbol in the background, which I think would be really, really tasty. And also, as well, we'll get on to the next thing. Prize for the tournament. This tournament is, at present, a test to see if it works. So prizes at the moment are essentially bragging rights. Mr. Landshark will create a glorious poster for the winning team that will be pinned in the Tournament Hall of Fame. So that's why the symbol will also be quite important. There'll be a big symbol, the winners for the first ever Sunrise Parabellum tournament. Of all the names of the people in there as well. In the future, should the YouTube channel provide me a sizable disposable income, or if people decide to donate to a prize pool, there'll be cash prizes. Any other types of prizes can be suggested by participants or viewers. So this is for if I ever become a world-famous YouTuber or a world-famous writer, whichever one comes first at this point, I don't really care. Because if I do have lots of disposable income to throw at tournaments, then obviously I will. But I know that I've joked quite a lot in the past about how the YouTube money is for drinking alcohol. It's not really, it's actually just for paying bills, because I'm not a very rich man. But, you know, it is what it is. Tournament coverage. All games will be casted on the official Mr. Landshark YouTube channel, or on other YouTube channels that Mr. Landshark consents to covering the tournament. So, you know, we've done some co-casts with people in the past, and while I haven't asked them to take part in this tournament, maybe they will want to. But there's no pressure. You don't have to if you don't want to. If you are a YouTuber and wish to cast these games in an unofficial capacity, Mr. Landshark is not going to stop you. So obviously these replays are going to be publicly available on the Discord. If you go on there, you'll be able to download them willy-nilly. Now, let's say, for example, if you're a new YouTuber, or maybe you're a YouTuber who really likes to break down mechanics and stuff, and you see one game in there and you think, that's a really good game for explaining XYZ thing. Just take it and then do your thing with it. Or if you just want to cover the tournament in your own way and you've got your own style for it, go for it. Just so that I can watch more Dawn of War content, because that's what I'm really here for. I'm just here to inspire other people to make Dawn of War content, so I can sit back and watch something that isn't moist critical all day long. So for future tournaments, tweaks and additions to the rules and formats will inevitably be made, but the biggest changes will come in the addition of other mods and number of teams. The size of future tournaments will be entirely determined by community interest, player participation, and commentator capacity. So say, for example, at the moment we've got a 3-team thing, and each team is playing 4 Unification, 4 Soulstorms against each other. Now, if we added Ultimate Apocalypse to it, it might just be that there are two games in each version played against each team, or it might be that there might be 4 teams, but now it's only 1 game between each team. Whatever, it's just because, what I mean with 8 games between each team, so that's 8, 16, 20, that's a minimum of 24 games we're going to have to cast for just 3 teams in this current format, which is, oh dear, which is a lot of effort. Which I'm fine with doing, but the bigger it gets, the more complicated it's going to get. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to start small, and see where we go from there. I think that's better to do it. And as well, because while this tournament format might only be 90% correct, I'd rather do a tournament at 90% correctness and actually do a tournament than do what I've seen what a lot of people do, where they keep on trying to make it 100%, but they're never actually doing it. So we're going in raw, we're going in without no rubber, and we're just going to see what kind of mess we can make. And last thing is an open source format. If you organise tournaments in the Dawn of War community, you are welcome to take any aspect of this format, or all of this format, and use it to host a tournament. The only request is that when naming your tournament, is that the word Parabellum is used somewhere in its name. For example, the Russian Parabellum tournament or the Crucible Parabellum tournament. Cup, sorry. So, I just think that if I'm doing something that's working, like I said, I don't know if it's going to work, but if it is something that works, please feel free to just copy and paste this entire PDF and use it to whatever means that you wish to use. Because, like I say, it's all about making fun games and events for people to take part in, for more YouTube content, for all the good stuff. We're making Dawn of War great again, boys and girls. We're making it sexy as well, with all these PNG team names as well. If you're wondering why the name Parabellum, so I got this from a quote from Kim Kitsuragi from Disco Elysium, because I just love Disco Elysium. Best game in the whole wide world. Sunrise Parabellum, an old revolutionary saying meaning sunrise, prepare for war. I just think that's just really cool. Really cool name. So yeah, the Sunrise, prepare for war, Dawn of War tournament. And I think I have covered everything. He says with a slight degree of nervousness about this. If I haven't mentioned everything, or if I've forgotten to mention anything, please feel free to ask in the comments below. I will answer them in my usual answer all comments every 4 days kind of thing. If you want to ask questions as well on the Discord, you're more than welcome to. But if you are going to ask on the Discord, do put a little thing in the comment section below for the algorithm. Just for the algorithm. Just because, you know, we're all in it together, aren't we, boys and girls? So yeah, that is going to be me. My name's been Mr. Landshark. Pleasure as always, never a chore. I will see you in a bit. Peace.